Chapter 8, looking at populations and understanding how populations change. The first part of this chapter looks at the sub-Saharan Africa region. And sub-Saharan means below the Sahara Desert in Africa. And this area is of interest because of its number of individuals living with HIV and the infectious rate of HIV. And you can see here down at this graph going from 1980 to 2001 the rate of increase of the infection of HIV in sub-Saharan Africa. And it's grown somewhat exponential. Here is the sub-Saharan Africa region, looking at the different countries, all that are in red. In the sub-Saharan Africa region, 25 million people are infected with HIV, the virus. 20 million more than anywhere else in the world. And 90% of all children in the world infected with HIV live in this sub-Saharan Africa region. So these graphs here are pretty interesting. The first one is showing the world population here as a whole and looking at the individuals that live in sub-Saharan Africa. Only 11 to 12% of all the individuals in the world live in this sub-Saharan Africa region. People living with HIV, 33 million worldwide, right? 67% in sub-Saharan Africa. All other regions, it's much smaller. New infections, 2.7 million. You can see majority is happening in the sub-Saharan regions. And then also AIDS-related deaths, most happening in the sub-Saharan Africa. So the question is, why? Why is this region dealing with so much more HIV infections than anywhere else in the world? Chapter 8 is looking all about population sizes and changes in population sizes. This shows different factors that can make a population grow. So here we can have a population increase, and here we can have a population decrease. And different factors, looking at abiotic factors, would be favorable light, temperature, different chemicals in the environment available to crucial nutrients. Biotic things that could cause a population to increase: higher reproductive rate, generalized niche, adequate food supply, suitable habitat, ability to compete, ability to be able to hide and defend against predators, ability to resist against parasites, ability to migrate and live in other habitats, and the ability to adapt to environmental change. While looking over here at the decrease factors, abiotic, too much or too little light, temperatures are those extreme, too high or too low, and then there is not enough crucial nutrients in that environment to help with biotic potential. Biotic living things that could cause a population to decrease: low reproductive rate, specialized niches, inadequate food, unsuitable or destroyed habitats, the inability to hide from predators, too many diseases and parasites, and the inability to migrate and live in other habitats. Those are just some things that can make a population decrease or a population increase. In this chapter, you're going to have to calculate the rate at which a population grows or decreases. And that population change rate is what we represent R here. And if we wanted to look at the world population growth, what are two factors that you think that we should consider? Yeah, we'd have to consider how many people are entering the planet, well, birth rates, and then how many people are leaving the planet, death rates. And not really people going in and out of the planet, but those that are being born versus those that are dying. So to calculate that rate, we would have to look at the births minus the deaths. And that's of the whole world. But what about if we wanted to just look at one country? What could happen to that one country that really wouldn't happen to the world? Yeah, you could have people coming in or leaving. So when you calculate the growth rate of a country, you have to, yes, consider the births and deaths, but you also have to consider the immigrants, people coming in, and then immigrants, the people leaving. So people coming in, people leaving. And to calculate the growth rate of a country, you would do the births minus deaths plus the immigrants minus immigrants.